Yo, what's up YouTube? I've been wanting to do a video on the whole weight issue in regards to black women, but I didn't know how to put it together without causing unneeded feelings and people being oversensitive. So I feel like I have to put things in perspective. Because when we state our preference, it kind of gets taken out of hand. And what upsets me is, we'll say how we feel. Then it will be other men who are non-black who will come in and act as if they're more accepting of a fluctuation in terms of what they like, in terms of, a woman's shape and body size. Right? They'll come in and try to win points. But if you look at their own communities in terms of what they value and what they glamorize and who they choose to be with, it will go against, right, what they're trying to say. Okay? Now, hip-hop is a very touchy subject because we are quick to point out all the things that hip-hop has done wrong, and it's done a lot of things wrong. But there are certain things that it has done to help out women. And for me, it showed that women can be attractive and come in different sizes. Right? Hip-hop is the thing that did that. Right? Hip-hop's exposure exposed the world to women who weren't necessarily twigs, who were thicker in shape. Okay? People saw it. People became more comfortable. You look at the 80s and the 90s and it's clear if you just look at the media what white men were into, what other groups of men were into. Just look at the women that they had in their movies and their music videos, and look at what black people were doing. Okay? We were way more accepting and we were way more embracing of women who came in different sizes and shapes. We were the ones to do that, but we don't get credit for it. Like I said before, if Kim Kardashian was around in the 80s or the 90s, the community, the American society would view her as odd. They would view her almost as being grotesque, right? But it was black men that pretty much said, hey, we accept that out of our women. It's cool if your body shape is like that. We are the ones that introduced the world to all that, right? And I find it funny now that you have, the American society that wants to act as if they're into thicker women, and they always have been. And now when we state our preference, we look like we're the bad guys. Okay? And half the time, what these women don't understand is that it's not even about your current weight. Right? It's about what's going to happen in a couple of years. Okay? To be more personal, I'm more accepting of, thicker women. I don't really have a preference. But for me, I always have to ask myself, okay, what's going to happen in a couple of years? Right? What we look at is how often do you exercise and how healthy are you living? Okay? Because you can be a thicker type of woman and still be healthy. That's not an issue. When I go to my gym, I see skinny women working out, they look great. I see women in the middle working out, they look great. I see women more on the opposite side of the spectrum working out, and they look great because they're maintaining what they are. As men, we just want you to keep the status quo. Men, like I said before, we like you how we met you. I've seen women who are a little bit on the thicker side lose a whole bunch of weight and become unattractive because that's not who I saw when I met you. I've seen it happen. And for me, we get unfair treatment because we are more willing to verbally say what our limits are. Okay? Like I said before, it's one thing to say that, oh, I support this shape in women, or, oh, you're wrong for saying that, this woman is undesirable. But it's another thing to see who you're choosing. Okay? If you look at who black men choose in terms of bodily shape, you really can't get mad if we say this is our cutoff limit. You really can't. Because we are very forgiving, we're very open, and we are very flexible. I don't want to get into the reasons to why, but that's just how we are. And it can get upsetting when you have certain women, larger women, especially in the media, who want to come on, okay, and act as if black men are the only ones that have a problem with the weight issue. Then these same women will come on board and lose weight. They'll promote this whole idea of being bigger, being happy, don't worry about what men have to say. Then these same women turn around and lose weight. Look at Star Jones. And most notably, look at Monique. A couple of my friends went to the Hoodie Awards this last weekend. I don't even know what the Hoodie Awards are, but they went. They had some press passes, and they were like, "Yeah, Monique looks like she's slimming down." I remember Monique. Monique was the one who was championing this whole idea. Who cares if you're an oversized, plus-size woman? Don't listen to black men and all this other stuff, right? And she's slimming down now, everybody. So what does that say? I think she probably realized that we are not the problem. Okay. I think she realized that, if black men say you're too big, chances are 99% of the rest of the world feels the same way. And that probably stuck in the back of her mind. But the question is, how many other women did she convince that there's nothing wrong with them and it was just the men? Healthy is healthy. And millions of men have said this before, right? No one complains. Men don't complain if a chick doesn't choose them because, they may be too, fat or thick or whatever, and they don't fit into this godlike type body, right? You really don't hear men complaining. And it's funny because, am I good on time? Yeah. It's kind of reversed. I think personally, black women have more of a physical standard barrier than other women do. Personally, right? You don't hear other women talk about, he has to be this tall and have this type of body, but with black women you hear that more often. So I think, we kind of got things confused. I think black men are very liberal, but are black women very liberal in terms of what they like? Let's be honest, let's be real. Right, we've all been there in terms of, he doesn't fit my preference and all this other stuff. And I'm like, okay. Right, I only really see larger black women talk about their preference in terms of what they like. I don't really see other women doing that. But once again, that's just me. Maybe I'm just, isolated from the rest of the world and I don't know what's going on. So we got to be real with this conversation. It goes back to the whole concept of black men having to be super. You go through YouTube and you'll see a video where there's some black chick saying, "Oh, we love black men," and it's always these super Hulk-like black men. Then you'll see another video talking about interracial love with black women, and they'll be with average white dudes, Asian dudes, or whoever. Right? Go figure. How many videos do you see black men with average non-black women? You see a lot of them, right? We're not sitting up there acting as if or over glorifying non-black women. Okay, we keep things in perspective on both ends of the spectrum, right? There is no special leeway. Like I said before, honestly, we're probably more forgiving in terms of size and weight with black women than we are with any other group of women. I know I am, to be honest with you. Right, my meter in terms of what's acceptable is large when it comes to black women, but it is relatively short with non-blacks. But it's the opposite with the women, right? What they like out of black men is very closed, right? You have to be super, but when it comes to them wanting non-black, you can be as average as you want to be. So, like I said, man, I don't know if I did a good job of staying focused on this video, because it's really hard to focus my thoughts because the subject is so large. But anyways, hopefully you guys can get an understanding of where I'm coming from, especially if you're a woman listening to this video. We're not trying to be unfair. like I said before, we are the ones who are setting the standards. But everybody likes healthy living, and we have to be fair here. How flexible are black women in terms of black men who fall out of the whole, Tyson Beckford type physique? So, anyways, you guys take it easy. Tim, how you feel? God bless.